In this video, I'll be talking about biofuels, what they are, some of the different types, and the controversy surrounding them. Let's start by defining the word biofuel. A biofuel is a fuel derived from living matter. Where fossil fuels like gasoline are made of dead biological material, biofuels are made of plant matter. The most common types of biofuels in use today are second-generation biofuels. Second-generation biofuels are made of plant matter biomass. The most common types of these biofuels are ethanol and biodiesel. Ethanol contains corn biomass, and over 98% of fuel sold in the United States has some ethanol dilution. Biodiesel contains soy biomass, and over 2 billion gallons of it were consumed in the United States alone in 2016. There are many policies in place to incentivize the use of second-generation biofuels, like corn and biodiesel. The most important policy used to encourage biofuel consumption is the Renewable Fuel Standard. The Renewable Fuel Standard mandates that billions of gallons of ethanol be blended into gasoline and biodiesel each year. Additionally, both Republican and Democratic administrations have supported increased biofuel production and consumption by implementing tax credits, import tariffs, grants, loans, and mandates. Consumption of fossil fuels releases harmful greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and the burning of coal and oil has been linked with global warming. Biofuels release very little carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and are much more environmentally friendly. Corn and soybeans are also renewable resources, so biofuels are a much more sustainable fuel source than fossil fuels. While there are many benefits of second-generation biofuel consumption, there are also many arguments against increasing use of ethanols and biodiesels. The food versus fuel debate is one of the main arguments against second-generation biofuels. Some people argue that the corn and soybeans used for biofuel production should be used as food, either for people or for livestock. Others argue that the land used for the production of corn and soybeans to be used for biofuels will require the deforestation or destruction of other natural wildlife, and that increased agricultural production isn't necessarily environmentally friendly. The gasoline gallon equivalency of most ethanols and biodiesels on the market is about 1.5, meaning that it'll take 1.5 gallons of a biofuel to get you as far as just 1 gallon of gas could take you. This makes biofuel consumption relatively inefficient for the average consumer. To combat these arguments, scientists developed third-generation biofuels. Third-generation biofuels are mainly derived from algae, which take very little space to grow and in very large amounts. There are very few other uses for algae, eliminating the food versus fuel issue, and it is entirely renewable and sustainable. Algae can produce 15 times more oil per acre than corn can. While algae is one of the most oil-rich plants on the planet, there are reasons why algae biofuels don't dominate the fuel market right now. Algae biofuel research is in its very early stages, and there isn't an efficient enough method of producing this fuel yet to make it economically feasible for most consumers. However, scientists at huge gasoline companies such as ExxonMobil are hard at work at cultivating new understanding of how to mass-produce third-generation biofuels, and aim to offer them on the mainstream market by 2020. In summary, it's clear that we need a fuel source more sustainable than fossil fuel energy. And while second-generation biofuels are doing their part to reduce harmful emissions and environmental degradation right now, they aren't a permanent solution. Third-generation biofuels offer the best benefits, and as long as we devote resources to the research of making these readily available to the average consumer, we're moving in the most sustainable direction.